Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. And for this special episode, we're going to be diving into Back to the Future. And I have a very special guest. For the very first time on this podcast, I've got Court and Liz from the B Critics podcast. How you guys going?
Hi.
Hi.
Going good.
We're having us.
Yeah, thank you.
More than happy to. I got the privilege to be on your guys' podcast, which was an awesome time. So I thought this would be perfect to get you guys on the show.
Yeah, we're excited. Super excited to be here.
And you guys only started your podcast this year. You guys were up to, I think, 40 episodes. You're about to hit 1,000 Instagram. You've hit the 200 mark on YouTube. Like, you guys killing it.
Yeah, listen, we're getting up there. We're having fun. We're digging in, and we welcome everyone. Come on and come all. We love it all. Yeah, come join us. We are on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere you can find podcasts. Mm-hmm. And we're called the B Critics. Yeah.
Got stuff down?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I think you put it in there probably.
Oh, I thought I said B Critics.
Just in case you missed it. Here it is again.
And what I always love asking this question of all my guests. What inspired you to start this podcast and kick this into high gear?
I think the truth of it is that, like, me and Liz we've been best friends for like a really long time. Mm-hmm. And we have found that podcasting is like one of the best ways for us to really stay in touch. Like, we live in different cities, and because of the podcast, like, we talk literally every single day. We get to talk about something we love, which is movies, and we love to like share a conversation with other people. And so I think like our friendship is almost like made for doing something like this. Mm-hmm. We're also extremely opinionated, and so that helps. If you listen to our show, you know. Sometimes completely opposing opinions. Yeah. Oftentimes completely opposing. Oftentimes, yes.
Nearly every episode.
Yeah, yes.
No, that's great. And I think you guys came in, I'm pretty sure it was my suggestion on Instagram that you guys popped up as when it says, suggestion accounts you should follow. And your podcast logo stands out a lot because of the pink, especially with when you go through Instagram, it's only really the ones that really stand out you click on because there's just so many. And I went and listened to your first episode, and I was like, these girls are really good.
You.
And
yeah.
And then that's why I added you to my shout out on Mondays. I thought it doesn't matter how small or how big you are. If you're doing a really good job, you should be shout out for that.
Yeah, that was our first interaction. Yeah. You gave us a shout out on a Monday, and I slid into the DMs. I was like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Hey.
Yeah, and that's sweet of you to say too, because I feel like Liz and I have come such a long way since our first episode, and that episode is great. We have one of our best friends, Holly, on it, so it's really special to us, honestly. But it's just really meaningful that one like stands out, and that's part of it too, right? Like we're fun and flirty and pink and purple and girly, and like that's really different in this space, we think. So we love bringing it. Mm-hmm.
And you do, and that's I was very actually surprised that you guys only started this year. But I looked, I was like, oh, surely there'd be more. I was like, oh, all right, no, just that's even better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're 7 months in. So,
does that time not fly?
It does. It's wild.
And you're currently having a great run with your Harry Potter series too. at the moment, which for anyone listening, go check that out. All links will be in the show notes for this.
Yeah. And Lee, definitely check out Lee's episode because that one was so fun to record. Yes.
I love the clips that you guys made. I was like, because I think your last episode was Half-Blood Prince. Like you're about to hit part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, part 1 comes out on Monday. Yeah, and then we timed it out perfectly so that part 2 will come out on Christmas Day. What better present than the Bee Critics? Come on, you're welcome.
Now that's a Christmas miracle.
It is. I always say Sorcerer's Stone is one of my absolute favorite Christmas movies because of, like, yeah, well, because like Harry opens the presents and he's like, oh my god, I got presents, and like that's just such a wholesome feeling. Like I want that on Christmas. So.
It's very sweet.
I almost forget that's a Christmas movie. Which, like, when you look at a list of Christmas movies, I'm like, oh yeah, there's always Die Hard, The Santa Claus, and then now you see Harry Potter. I'm like, it is a Christmas movie. Yeah, it actually is.
Almost every single one of the movies has a Christmas scene, like a Christmas day.
Yeah. Well, that's
yeah.
fine.
And they're always like streaming on TV around Christmas time as well. Yeah. They feel warm and cozy, so it works. And magical. Like Christmas. Just like Christmas.
Yeah. Which is, as we're recording this, is only a week away, which is scary to think about. But
terrifying. Because we spent a lot of time talking about all the presents we still have to buy. So us and the rest of the world. Everybody procrastinates presents.
I know. Thank God for Amazon. Thank God
for that. Yeah.
But let's dive into this episode because as we were talking, like this was a good pick overall. And before we start recording this episode, as I mentioned, it's been a very long time since I've seen Back to the Future, and every time I do go back to it, I always remind myself actually how old this movie is. And Liz, this was your first time watching this movie.
How did I get away with that? I don't know. I really don't know how you got away with that. I have no idea.
That's like you're saying Ghostbusters.
Oh, I've seen Ghostbusters, and I'm sure this was on at some point in my house because this is like right up my dad's alley. I just like never watched it. I don't know. But that's like 100% why I feel like it's crazy that you haven't seen it. I had a long conversation with my mom about this movie yesterday because like in preparation for this recording because I wanted to get her perspective on it. And I just like our parents are very similar. And I just feel like I was like, I know that your parents like have watched this around you. But I 100% was a Marty McFly fan. Oh, I'm 100%. Sure.
Thank you.
Yes. I asked my mom what her favorite part of the movie was, and she said that it was when Marty gets back together with Jennifer at the end of the movie. I was like, of all the parts of this movie, that's the one. But it didn't even have like a tumultuous relationship or anything. There was no kiss. I was waiting for the kiss, and it never happened.
No.
It got interrupted, and then it just never happened.
No. But like, what was like as soon as the movie finished? What was like your first thought of it?
I don't know. I was telling Courtney, I was like, I'm not sure how I feel. I liked it, but I was like, I don't know. Like, how much did I like this movie, and how much was I just kind of like watching the movie? I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I feel like this movie would be a really difficult movie to watch for the very first time in 2023. Yeah. This is not a movie that they would make today in any way, shape, or form. It was very fun to watch. And I really appreciate like how well the effects were done considering the time period it was made. And like some of the stuff that comes out today looks worse than this movie, which is crazy. But I did read a lot about how they did the effects, and a lot of it was practical. They didn't use a ton of visual additions, which is probably the reason why it looks so good, because they really lit stuff on fire and blew things up and threw a car through a thing. Like, well, they had to. It was 1985, right? Like, they didn't really have CGI. I mean, they did, but it was like that lightning strike that we got, and like, oof. I kind of like it, honestly. Like, it gives it like a comic book feel.
Oh yeah.
And like, I really appreciate that aspect of it, where like, you know, it's not real. Obviously, it's not real, but like, it I don't know, it's just fun. It's like in the Barbie movie where they added those cute little visual things, like the little like thought bubbles and the little sparkle on the screen. It's just like it's a little extra, and you're like, oh, I like this.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because it's mind-boggling to think about in this time because of inflation and everything. But this movie, only $19 million to make.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be less than that, right? But they like had to recast somebody at the last minute and spent like $3 million on that alone, right?
Yes, they did.
There was a lot of recasting for this movie.
If you do go back, you can actually still find footage on YouTube, because they filmed a quarter of the movie before the recasting.
That would definitely cause a budget problem.
So, like the scene, Eric Stoltz was originally meant to play Marty McFly. So I think the scenes with the DeLorean coming out, and I should say this at the start, but surely no one's going to bark up about this, but spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
For a movie over 30 years old. Like,
out the wazoo. Yeah. Don't be like Liz. Go have seen it already.
Yeah.
I don't mind a spoiler. I'm always like, it's okay. I hate spoilers. Don't ever spoil a movie for me. We have a friend, Courtney, you know who this is, Emma, who will go, like, before she sees a movie, she'll go on to like Wikipedia and read the whole synopsis of the movie. I don't understand people like that. I did that for Saltburn, and I was like, oh, you didn't.
Why?
I don't know. I understand looking up like trigger warnings or like content warnings.
Yeah.
You know, like that's definitely reasonable. But to like look up the plot or like the moments of what happens, like I guess some people don't like surprises. I love surprises. I think she just wanted to know. She's like, I can't go see it like when it first comes out. So like, I'm just gonna dive in and then I'll
watch
just
the whole thing later. In my mind.
Go on TikTok, type in Saltburn. You will see the whole movie.
That's insane that you can do it on TikTok. Like, you can go on YouTube and there is a 50-part breakdown or 50-part of Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm. Like the whole thing.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Whole thing.
Oh, man.
But I don't know how. Like, I try and avoid spoilers as much as possible. Obviously, as soon as I go on my Instagram, everything is pretty much shown.
Mm-hmm.
The last movie I can think of, not to go off topic, that I really made sure that I saw nothing was Endgame. I was
tough.
like very minimal on Instagram, no TikTok, all trying to lead up to it because I wanted to go in and be fully surprised. Now I'm just like, yeah, I'll see a spoiler.
I feel like when you watch as much movie content as we do, it's really tough to not like see spoilers. But I actually do this thing where like I don't watch trailers sometimes. Like if I'm watching a trailer and I get like 30 seconds in, I'm like, I can usually pretty quickly decide if I'm gonna like want to watch the movie or not, and then I just turn it off. Especially if I want to watch it. I'm like, this looks really good. Off.
Nah. Which trailers I find is also hit and miss. You watch one and then they go, oh, here's a second trailer. Here's all the good parts. Here's all the cameos and everything that you gotta see.
Yeah. Well, like Saltburn, for example, like they didn't give away anything in the trailer. I've never watched the trailer for Back to the Future.
It did really good.
I bet it's goofy.
It's it's very short. It's very short and yes, it is goofy. But as I was saying before, is they shot Eric Stoltz with the scene with the Doc and the DeLorean for the first time, and the scene with his old man.
Oh.
They shot that, as well as right at the same time that they were filming this, which originally Michael J. Fox was the original pick.
Mm-hmm.
He was contracted to, I was going to say Days of Our Lives. I can't remember that show. Modern Family.
No.
Something switch or something.
No, it's Family something. I think it's
Family Ties.
Family Ties. Yeah.
Yeah. He was filming that at the same time. So a lot of the filming they had to do for Back to the Future, they had to do at night. So he was filming Family Ties, go to a different set, goes film Back to the Future, go back to his trailer, and then do the cycle over and over again until one of them finished.
Wow.
That's pretty sleep.
Yeah. So they went after, apparently Eric Stoltz, the directors really didn't, he wasn't gelling well.
They said he was too serious. They're like, this is supposed to be fun and funny. And he was like, this is a drama. And they're like, get out.
Imagine Back to the Future is a drama?
No. It would be horrible. Also, you are a child. Like, you do what the director says. Okay? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Not to mention, it's a movie where you go back in time and you're going to see your parents. And it's going to be a wild adventure.
I make out with you.
Yes. Yes. Which, interesting enough, that was another reason is that this script got rejected so many times.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever seen the John Mulaney skit about Back to the Future? I love John Mulaney. Do you know who John Mulaney is, Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has this like bit in one of his stand-ups. You should watch it. It's on Netflix, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But he talks about Back to the Future, and he's like, somebody had to pitch this movie. Like, imagine like going in and trying to pitch this movie where this boy goes back in time and tries to hook up with his mom. Good luck.
Print it. Done. Yeah, do it. That's it. Yeah. And it's funny when as a kid, you don't really notice it, but going back and watching this as an adult, you're like, huh, this is weird.
Yeah. There's also the whole like assault scene that they just kind of like brush over. And they're like, oh, forget that happened. Let's go to the dance. And it's like, that was like a common thread really throughout like the middle portion of the movie. Yes. Like this whole concept of like men sexually assaulting women and it just being like, okay, like the teacher's just gonna like watch it happen and just kind of turn a blind eye. Yeah. Like, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the 50s. It's fine.
Yeah, the 50s were a wild time.
Yeah. Could get away with anything.
Literally.
You're right. Like, you look at this and you're like, no, the car, his mum, like, and just, you couldn't get away with it.
The old, like, crazy scientist man. Why is he friends with this old man? I don't know. It's never explained. Never.
It's never explained in the movie. However, they did make a video game of Back to the Future, which did a small reason why. And apparently, Doc was doing some experiments, and Marty come across him, and he just saw him and started talking to him, and then basically became his lab partner.
That's cool.
But
that makes so much sense that they would do that in a video game, because I feel like video gamers like need an origin story. Yeah, like they cannot accept like just something like random. We just know how to movie. Yeah. We don't just start already friends. Okay, we have to get there somehow.
That's right, and it's not until you like rewatch this movie you go, how did you teenage boy find an old man living in a garage? Like, he doesn't live in his house because it burned down, but he's living in a garage. And what do your parents think?
Yeah, who do your parents think you're hanging out with? Not crazy old scientist man.
Yeah, he's really cool. I'm going to go hang out with him.
And his dog.
Yeah.
His dog was cute, though. Einstein.
Why
was it okay, like, putting Einstein in the car and sending him to the future? He may never come back.
It's funny you say that because that's like my second point on my list of notes is why send your dog to get disintegrated?
Listen, I would
Potential.
never, ever put my cats alone in a time machine. Are you kidding? Poor little Einstein. But how cool would that be to say that they were the first time travelers? What if they didn't come
Or
up
were
with that? You wouldn't put Archie in a time machine by himself if I had a lot of confidence that it would work. Maybe. I don't think he had that much confidence in it. He didn't.
No,
He seemed
'cause-
pretty surprised when it worked. He
Like,
clearly
that's
was
it.
sacrificing his animal. Yeah, that was definitely going on.
And if it didn't work, him and Marty would roadkill.
Yo, they
If it
barely.
didn't work. Just hit into them. It's also funny. Rewatching this again is I didn't realize how much at the start actually sets up everything the later half. Like everything they talk about is completely foreshadowed.
Yes.
From Biff, the fight, the date night, the family. Like you really not Inception level, but the fact that everything they say is foreshadowed. Nothing, no line is thrown away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything comes full circle in this movie. If you want a closed loop movie with no plot holes, well, there might be some plot holes, but then this is the movie for you. Yeah, definitely not an open-ended ending. No. Well, it is kind of open-ended, actually. Well, they didn't kick off to go on to the sequel. Yeah, but that's very open-ended.
Well, yeah, well, that's true. I can't remember if that scene, how much that scene was in when it was first released. Can't remember.
Oh, it changed?
Well, I think it's oh
Maybe
no,
there's different endings. My ending, they rode off in the car with the girl. That was my ending too.
Yeah. That's the right ending. How did you feel about George and Lorraine's story in this?
Oh, they were so cute. I loved George. I was like, I'm rooting for you, man. I'm rooting for you. And poor Lorraine. She was just falling in love with everybody. She was a little boy crazy.
Yeah. Oh, you got hit by a car.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Very true. Yeah. Also, she just took his pants off, and she's like, "I've never seen purple undies before." Like, girl, Calvin. Oh my god, she got him Calvin Klein. That was the funniest bit.
Yeah.
She's like, in my room, touching his leg.
Oh, I'm gonna get her.
And then she knows she's not supposed to be in there because then when her mom comes up the stairs, she's like, "Oh my god, your clothes on, put your pants on." I'm like, "Wait, you took his pants off?" Everything from every direction is just really questionable about boundaries.
Why?
Yeah, like no boundaries, none, no boundaries.
No, and there's like, oh, you know, he's really cute, even though he just got hit by a car, and I've never met you in my life.
Also, there was no blood. There was like, they were not concerned about him whatsoever. They were like, "Oh, sleep it off." Meanwhile, if you have a concussion, you're not supposed to sleep. Well, that was the other thing, right? Like, the guy hit him with the car, and then instead of, like, you know, bringing him to the hospital, calling 911, he was just like, "Let's just put him upstairs in the back room and let him sleep for 10 hours. And you're like, wait a second.
That'd be fun.
I gotta wake up. Is that how life was back in the 50s? I guess, maybe.
Must have been. Even the dad's like, another one of these kids jumped here in front of my car. I was like, how many kids have you hit?
That seems like a you problem. The common thread. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let's check another boy up from stairs, take care of him.
Does Lorraine go after them all?
Right.
Seems like her vibe.
Cyril hit people. People get hit by cars. That's a way.
It's a sympathy attraction, isn't that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when Wesley said nurses fall in love with the patients. But no, with George, it shows very well how dysfunctional that family is at the very start, with one of their uncles being in prison, and how disjointed the family is, and how Biff is just a dick. How many times you just hit Biff?
So many. so many times. Also, so George is being picked on by Biff, but then like later in the movie, George is picking on Biff. So like, how do we support that? I mean, it's the 80s. Kids are out here bullying. Like they need it. And today, people don't think bullying's cool, but in the 80s, that was a thing for sure.
Yeah, it was fine. You know,
like a few years ago, before COVID, bullying was still okay.
Yeah. That's right. You know, that guy was picking on your girl back then. You should just treat him like shit, make him wash your car, you know, and just pick on him. And then, Biff, I paid for 2 waxes.
I also feel like Biff, in the beginning of the movie, bullying George was like, as an adult, was like way worse than later in the movie when George was the bully. Like, George was just like, wax my car like I paid you. But Biff was like, aggressively, me all the money in your wallet. Yeah. And look, your shoes untied. Let me hit you as hard as I can. Yeah. Awful. Boys are mean. Boys are so mean.
Oh, say your hi to your mom for me.
Ew. Get out of here, Biff. Yeah.
And the funny thing is,
Biff?
Biff Tannen. Interesting enough, that guy, Thomas, who plays the character, he's really nice.
Oh,
you know, like he's really nice in real life, and he's like, I'm infamous for playing one of the biggest dicks.
Aww. That's like the guy that plays Lucius Malfoy. I know, bringing it back to Harry Potter, but he has been, people have said that he's like the nicest guy ever, and he gets like his heart broken because he'll be out in public and kids are like running away from him or like pointing and screaming or something because he's the bad guy. Yeah. He also played, I think he played Captain Hook in the Hook movie. So he's like a double villain. So weird. Such a nice person and then plays like mean people so effectively, you know? Yeah. Role play, I guess. Just very empathetic.
The only other movie I've seen him in is actually in another movie with Michael J. Fox.
Really?
And that's actually semi a horror movie. It's called Ghosts or something, and Michael J. Fox plays a guy who can see ghosts, and he takes over a house. He's like a ghost hunter, and it just gets it's a really dark story. It's slight comedy at the same time.
Super dark comedy. It kind of sounds like Courtney's vibe.
But Biff still plays a dick.
He's being typecast.
Yeah.
Oh, the Frighteners? Is that right?
Frighteners, there. That's it. Yeah. That's the only 2 times I've ever seen Biff play another character, and it's still with Marty.
That movie looks really scary. I don't know if I want to watch that.
Yeah, it's like really scary, but it has like its comedy moments. I've only watched it once.
The poster for it is like, it looks like a sheet and like somebody's like really creepy face and like skeletal smile like pressing through the sheet.
Yeah.
He's not a fan. Maybe I'll consider watching that one next Halloween season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you need a guest, I'll take you up on. If you're looking for a guest, I'll put my hand up.
Keep that in mind. The Frighteners. You will not catch me watching that movie. I won't.
Unless I have to review it, I'm not going back and watching it. Ever.
I would probably watch it willingly, but it's not me you have to convince if you want to review it. So
do it. Also, would you, if you were a teenage boy, would you go see this old man 1:30 in the morning at a shopping center with his van and his dog?
I think if I was a teenage boy, I would do that. Teenage boys are reckless.
Danger.
Yeah, there's no such thing as stranger danger in this movie.
I guess it was the 80s, so
that's true. What do you think about being a DeLorean as a time machine? Like, you like
classic, iconic.
It was cool.
I thought it was cool. Yeah, I vibed with this movie a lot. So I vibed with all those little touches. Mm-hmm. It's like the epitome of like an American muscle car. So it made sense that that's what they would use, right? It's just like, it has the look. But I also feel like at this point, like, even having watched Back to the Future the first time, like, you know, it was a DeLorean, right? That was the time machine. Like, I can't really imagine it as anything else, to be perfectly honest. Well, originally, it was going to be a fridge.
Yes. I think to myself, like, that would just been awful. That would have been
What are they going to do? Like, step into the fridge? Like, you can't even fit in a fridge.
It's going to go 88 degrees.
Hot. That would have fit, honestly, like the vibe of Doc, I think. But I am so glad that they changed it to a DeLorean. So glad. Yes.
Which from this, DeLorean sales went through the roof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that the guy, I can't remember his first name, but the guy who, or the DeLorean guy, John maybe, he like wrote them a letter and he was like, thank you so much, because now I get to live my dream.
People want to buy my car.
Yeah, people want to have my car.
Yeah. It's funny, actually, if this movie was made today, I feel like they would just use the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
The Tesla Cybertruck.
Or Rivian.
Yeah.
Or, have you seen, well, I don't know if y'all have them in Australia, but they've been rolling out, Amazon has been rolling out their cyber fleet. So all of their delivery vans are electric, at least here. I'm in Atlanta, and so maybe they rolled them out here first, but they're rolling out their cyber fleet, and they look really freaking cool.
Cyber fleet?
Yeah. Oh, I've seen that.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's probably everything in America's first. Australia's always like a year or 2 years later.
And they're really cool. Yeah.
But another thing that I don't think they'll be able to do today is the fact that Doc dies by a terrorist. He was going to make him make them a bomb. He was gonna, obviously he did it in the end, but
they're just like vigilantes running around with illegal weapons.
A bazooka. You know,
yeah. I think you could do it in a movie. It would have to be executed way differently, and it would not be a black car with tinted windows and like, yeah, it wouldn't be comedy. It was very comedy, this movie, and it would not be comedy if they made it today. Yes. Yeah.
No, it'd be a lot of like, that's all. Actually, no, today it'd be like, that's political. That is sending a message.
Yeah, it would have to be like the mob or something for it to be okay.
Yeah. You want to just take out this poor guy.
I think everything that comes out today, somebody's like, oh, that was a political statement. Yeah, and I'm like, it's just a movie. Let it be. Just enjoy it or don't. I don't know.
It's funny you say that, because I think, bring it back to Harry Potter and Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy. That became a hot topic because of the transgender community.
Did it really? Really?
Well, it did because it's funny, actually. It's my highest played episode this year. It was because that all the comments because of J.K. Rowling and all the bad things she said about that. A whole bunch of people of the community went to TikTok and were like, if you buy this game, you support her claims.
Oh, no.
I was like, well, I'm sorry for every 10-year-old kid that just wants to play a Harry Potter, which you've now made it a political statement. I'm like, I'm pretty sure no gamer gives a shit about J.K. Rowling
and her tweets. Yeah.
And her tweets. I just want to get my broom, and I want to. And I want to.
Quidditch, damn it!
I want to play Quidditch.
Yeah. Yes, I would agree with that. Mm-hmm. I think I'm getting that game for Christmas. I'm very excited. Courtney's like, I already know all my gifts, so.
I already know everything. You're going to love the game.
I'm very excited. I'm gonna have to watch your podcast about it before I play. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
We'll watch it and then like stream ourselves playing and talk about your episode while we're streaming. A little Christmas twitching. I like it.
Yeah, you'd still get heaps of a lot of people watching that. Especially if you say first time playing the game, people love that.
Yeah, I do get that, because that was like our Sorcerer's Stone episode, like our friend Holly had never seen the movie before, and it was like the most amazing experience, like listening to her talk about it, honestly.
Magical is what we found it.
Yeah,
She liked it.
she did like it.
Oh, that's all. Well, I think Harry Potter's it's the same thing. It's like for people who haven't seen that movie, even if you aren't a big like magical person, it's just one of those movies that you chuck in the same category as Back to the Future, Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah,
Die Hard. It's
It
just
creates a
one of those
world, like a different world that you like wish you could go to.
and it's like a classic. Like Back to the Future is a classic. Like you can't not. I don't know. I feel like it will always be like a lot of people's favorite movie or their favorite childhood memory movie. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
between this and Jurassic Park. This was always
Jurassic Park is definitely mine. Yeah. I watched that way more times than this movie, which is weird because I like during this rewatch, like I really enjoyed this movie. My eyes were like latched to the screen. I was like, love this movie.
So, okay, this is kind of like a little bit off topic, but not really. It still relates. So, there's a movie that came out this year, like in October, called Totally Killer. Did you watch that, Lee? Have you seen it?
no, but I've seen the
It's
poster.
on
for it,
Netflix. Yeah. It's like one of the Netflix original movies. It has like the same vibe as this movie, where it's like they go back in time and like adventure back in time. It's like, yeah, it's like after watching this, I was like, huh, very interesting, because I really enjoyed Totally Killer, and I was like, I now know where this vibe came from.
Yeah.
Huh, this seems awfully familiar. Wonder where you got that idea from. No, I'll have to check that out. No, I've seen the poster, but I haven't. Well, holidays are coming up, so I got a lot of rewatch to.
Yep.
Lot of rewatch.
So many
honest.
holiday movies. You have to watch them too. You have to.
And how did you find like Doc from going from overly confident at the very he was more semi-confident at the start, and then going back to which he has a really nice home. So for some reason he has a drive by and loses that home, which is terrible. But he seems he seems so more helpful to Marty, even though he knows everything that's about to happen. And the note. He actually does read the note in the end too.
Yeah. I think Doc is like the perfect like mad scientist character.
It was so good.
Yeah.
He's like, what's really funny is he ends up being kind of like the sidekick character, but at the beginning you think he's going to be the main character. He's got like main character energy, but then plays like kind of a sidekick.
Well, he gets shot in the first
But I think he's so like eccentric and over the top. Like I get why people love him and like why people vibe with his energy, because
And his little like contraption he made to feed his dog, probably because he forgets to feed the dog.
I know. And actually, I don't know if you guys noticed, there's actually one of those clocks has someone hanging from one of the arms.
That's
just
really
like
cool.
just like at the end,
Oh,
like a small little nod.
Like, hey, this is what's coming, but you don't know that yet. Yeah. That's really cute.
No. And obviously I do always like going back and I always do like how he has the photo of his family, and that's slowly fading away, showing how everything's going wrong.
Yeah.
I feel like Doc is the only one who realized when Marty tells him everything that's changed. I feel like Doc goes, "Oh, yeah, that's not going to have a problem in the future.
Yeah.
Don't worry, just keep going, you'll be fine." Like he knows it's going to stuff up things.
The funniest part about that is how like Doc is so much like, he's so adamant. He's like, don't talk to your parents, don't talk to anybody like that might impact your future. And then Marty's like, well, what if I already ran into my parents? And then he's like, okay, we have to intervene as much as possible to try to correct this. And I'm like,
Change their origin story.
Complete change.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how'd you feel about the music?
Loved the music.
Love the 80s.
I have been listening to the soundtrack this afternoon and I'm obsessed. But I have an interesting fact about the Marty singing, like Michael J. Fox's singing. So he didn't actually sing anything. It was all sung by Mark Campbell, who is the Jack Mack in the Heart Attack. He's like the lead singer of that band. And yeah, and so he's actually not credited in the movie because he didn't want to be credited. Like he wanted to give the illusion that Michael J. Fox was the one that was like singing everything. But they like secretly like gave him some of the royalties from the music. But he's not credited on the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, it's hush money. Oh, I didn't know that. I assumed they did something with his voice, but didn't know it was like a completely different voice.
I didn't even know that. Yeah.
I did not think it was believable at all, actually. I like during the watch, I Googled who was singing this because I could immediately tell it was not Michael J. Fox. So I don't know how they pulled that illusion off in the 80s, UVH.
That's not him. That's not him.
Yeah, no way.
And it's funny. Every time I hear that song, Johnny Be Good, it's in straight Back to the Future. Like I'm like, yep. Yeah. And it's the only time I ever play it is after I watch this movie.
You're like, yeah, dude. I would listen to that song like on the regular, but I did enjoy it. But even all the like excessive guitar playing was really fun.
He did learn how to play the guitar.
He did.
He didn't actually playing it, but he did know how to play it.
He was like
doing something.
Yeah. So to make it look like very realistic that he was playing.
Which I mean,
well,
he did.
He did a good job, and I think it was a better choice than the other band that was going to be playing Earth Angel. Like, Earth Angel, Earth Angel.
And then everybody was like, what was that music? And he was like, you'll like it in a little bit. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
You'll be fine. There's actually on YouTube, there is a whole theory that Marty made rock and roll and heavy metal. Because you know how the other guy goes, you know that new sound you're looking for? Listen to this. So like a whole theory that because of that, that's how heavy rock and heavy metal came to be.
That's funny.
Yeah, I definitely put
part of the lore.
Yeah, just changing a whole lot more. But yeah, that was and the dance scene. Obviously, we get to see the photo all coming to fruition with Everyone Stays Alive. How do you feel about the punch with George finally getting to Biff? Which I feel like when you watch it, you're just like, yeah. Go, George.
I thought it was funny how like Marty started disappearing from the photograph, and then with no intervention, George just like decided to turn around and like make things happen.
Like, that's a mad woman.
Like,
oh, George.
Pushes the guy pretty hard too. Like he pushes him down.
Yep. That's where it all started.
Yeah. True love. And it amazes me also how they did that effect when Marty does have the hand in front of his face and it's fading.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not too bad for 80s.
Yeah, no, not bad at all.
No, they did good.
No.
It does kind of look like this picture you have, like, when you stop it, like it's got like a circle thing going on with it. I don't know what that's about, but
it's supposed to be the shadows, like shadows from the stage lights.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, look, but like, what happens if that didn't happen? Is like everyone just see a guy just disappear on stage?
Yeah, I don't know about that decision. I don't know how I feel about that. But yeah. Again.
just go, oh yeah, the guy just singing it, he's just disappeared.
Yeah, where'd he go?
Yeah.
I also
That's
like
it.
too that they like made this movie so like over the top too, because like it's not super believable, like the way that it went about, that like that everything happened, right? That like, for example, that he was the last kid, he's the youngest, but he was the last kid to disappear. Like, don't you think he would be the first kid to disappear and then it would slowly like go backwards? And then also just the fact that he like was disappearing in general. Like I would think you would almost just like instantaneously disappear. But because like the movie was so like over the top and silly and goofy, you're just like, I'm just gonna believe all of
Yeah, what
this
is
and like
going
go along for the ride.
Yeah.
Let's just draw this out. It's just fading.
I liked it.
No, and it's just builds suspense
Mm-hmm.
because and well, speaking of suspense, with the last scene, with the clock tower scene, because I watched this as more of a critic. I think to myself, wow, a lot had to happen for that perfect lightning, and the fact that Doc got the clock wrong too.
Yeah.
He timed the clock wrong, so if he went off at the right time, it would have been too early.
Yeah, it's all about luck, really. Science is
Yeah.
just luck. There's no
Yeah.
skill.
No, it's not.
Did you not like that, Lee, as a critic? Like, did you think that was like almost taking it too far, or did you think it was fun that it was like almost
I
like just
thought-
chance that they made it happen?
I thought it was more chance. I was like, well, I just probably like that's a lot to just write on chance.
Mhm.
As me as a kid watching, I'm like, oh my god, is he gonna make it? Is he? Oh my god!
That's what I was doing. I was like, oh my God. I was like, just do the thing. Put the thing in the over, just do the things. Like, what are you doing?
And then he literally gets electrocuted when he like puts the plug together. I'm like, you'd be dead, sir. With what was it? A 2.1 gigawatt.
Gigawatts?
Okay.
Yeah,
When that was said, I immediately Googled that because there's no such thing as a gigawatt. Okay, that's fake. And
it is.
the reason that that happened is because the writers like heard a mispronunciation of the word gigawatt and they wrote that into the script as gigawatt. And it wasn't until afterwards that they realized that the word is actually pronounced gigawatt.
Oh,
But they just like left it in there.
What, no one
Harry.
checked this?
Like, it's kind of funny because like nowadays, like I maybe just because we have larger power supplies, like more readily available, but like people talk in terms of like megawatts and gigawatts. And like maybe just nobody was really talking about that unless you were like actually in the scientific community back in the 80s. But like that was a miss for sure.
yeah. That's
Plutonium.
true.
The fact that he was able to get his hands on plutonium, like, okay, sure. Fine.
I know. Which is retconned in the next movie. Instantly take away in the next movie that you don't need plutonium. So spoiler alert, sorry,
You know,
Liz.
you just
Spoiler
put
alert.
random food in the car and it goes.
Yeah. Just random food.
Banana, pickles, beer, a beer can, like whatever.
A time machine that runs on beer. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that in the movie.
Everybody would be bopping around in time, to be honest.
Oh yeah, they would be.
Mhm.
And it's interesting fact is that clock, that small little clock that Doc puts in the DeLorean, that stays in the DeLorean for the rest of the whole trilogy.
Cool.
Oh,
It's never taken out. It's actually, and it stays there. And you're right. Doc would have died with a bolt of lightning. Oh, holding
1,000%. Not even a question. He would be dead.
well,
Immediately.
not necessarily.
he fried.
A lightning strike doesn't kill all of its victims.
Yeah, that's true, I guess, if it went through him.
It went the right way, yeah. He was grounded correctly.
He was touching the ground. He was touching
Yeah.
the ground. But the lightning strike, like, went through him, like, I don't know.
Hmm.
It's
Well,
questionable. Like, definitely questionable. But I'm happy he lived. He's a great character.
And well, probably more. Well, how'd you feel I remember watching this as a kid. I was like, oh, obviously, is Doc going to be saved? Because you see him get shot again, and you hear Marty go, no. Which I do love that aspect that you do to see the whole scene in a different angle, which I do love. And I do love the subtle part that at the beginning of the movie, it's called the Twin Pine Mall, but because Marty becomes the One Pine Mall. Did you notice that?
No,
Because
I didn't notice that. He took the tree out.
He took the tree out. So it becomes a One Pine Mall.
That's hilarious. There are a lot of little, like, small tidbits like that in this movie. Like when you were mentioning the plutonium thing, like at the beginning of the movie, they had the bit on the news about how like somebody had taken plutonium, and I was like, oh, this is coming back.
It's like, oh, I'm sure plutonium was regularly available in the 80s. It's still not regularly available now.
Still not in the 2020s, so the Cold War was still going on back then, right? The tail of it.
Probably.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know history. I'm very bad at history. I know. I know what happened. Couldn't tell you when.
Around this 50 years.
Yeah.
Around there.
Yeah, it was according to the internet, it was from 45 to 91. So in 85, it was still Cold War times.
Oh, well, yeah. What is, now, I'm just curious now, what is some things you didn't like about this movie?
For me, the pacing was a little slow sometimes. And there was like some side quests going on that I was like, what does this have to do with anything?
Which side quests were you referring to?
Well, there's just like random characters that are like available, like Biff, like
Goldie Wilson
of Biff, or like all these like, and the girlfriend, like what, like I don't know, maybe she's important later. I haven't seen the sequels, but like I don't know. There's just like side things going on that I was like, I like all those things because I think as like a kid watching, like those are the things that get you, right? Like the girlfriend and like the bully. Like you gotta have. I forgot about the girlfriend until she showed back up at the end. I was like, oh, whatever. No, I was obsessed with her hair. I was like, dang, how do I get my hair to look like that? Which is crazy because she's got very much 80s hair, you know? It's back. It's back in style. Oh, I meant to bring up the dress that Lorraine wears to the sea dance. I was like, I want that. I would wear it every day if I had that. That would be my everyday outfit. Yeah, I liked all their outfits, to be honest. I was like, styling is fabulous. So much. I thought the 50s was like bad fashion, but they made it out to be like cute. I was into it. I was like, I like this.
No, it wasn't. Could do the 50s, but maybe not all the everything we talked about earlier stuff. Yeah, but styling,
and the hair here was good.
I'm trying to think like what I didn't like about this movie. I think maybe like some of the stuff that doesn't really keep like in today, like particularly like the terrorist bit,
some of
like
the language that they use.
Yeah, but
like
for the
butthead.
Yeah.
When's the last time someone called you a butthead?
Oh, I say that all the time.
Yeah.
They did do a lot of swearing in this movie, which I thought was fun.
They also said some things that were like not acceptable in today's
PC.
Yeah.
I thought they were, I mean, yes. And that's why I say like you couldn't make this movie in 2023, but
you could.
Some of those things
say different things, or maybe just like not call people mean names. I don't know.
Well, no, like this movie, like if this movie exactly as it is, as a brand new movie came out in 2023, like people would be like, we're not accepting this.
It's not allowed.
But
no,
like,
it's not, and it's not woke enough too. That would be a big thing. Is like,
definitely not woke.
All the cast is white.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they steal Johnny B. Good. Like they kind of imply that like Marty, this like white guy, is the one that like brings this style of music to the 80s, and like I think that probably upset some people, but like I just think, I don't know, I loved it. I think it's like a classic, like it was giving me like High School Musical vibes, like in a way of like I'm just so like, I can imagine if I was like a 15-year-old kid like watching this movie, like I would be obsessed with Michael J. Fox. I would be like Claudia Wells, like Jennifer, like the girlfriend. I was like, I'm obsessed with her hair, her outfit. She's just so like posh, like love that. Like I think I would just be obsessed with every character. I would hate Biff. I would think Doc is like such a nutty dude, but I would love him. Like I just think every character in this movie has so much personality, and like I think it makes them really lovable. And I think that's kind of why I really like this movie, because it's so simple, right? Like we say it's not like woke enough or whatever to be a movie today, but like that's kind of like the specialness of it as like a movie, is it's just like a simple movie about some guys going back to the future, and then you've got these like little bits about a bully and a love interest, and that's it, you know?
Yeah.
It's pure. It's like a pure movie. And it's one of the very rare movies that has not received a remake, hasn't received a sequel bashing.
It shouldn't. It will never.
If they try to remake this movie, the world will flip upside down. People will like,
it would be so different. They would completely change the plot, you know? And I just think it wouldn't be, people wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. The closest thing we're going to get is that totally killer movie. If you liked this, you will probably like that one, but it's also very similar. So there's that.
That's the closest thing. Well, and another reason why another reason which is quite handy, which is quite unique, is that both the directors, Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, they wrote something in the contract that no future films or sequels or tie-ins can be approved without their approval. So until they both drop, a remake or a sequel can't be done.
Because they're not going to approve it.
Yeah, they're going to approve it.
That was intelligent.
Yeah. So the rights are actually still in their names, not the studio.
That's cool.
Very smart.
So
a lot of interesting movie decisions that like wouldn't really be made today. Like for example, like Mark Campbell not getting credited with the music. Like that seems like really like I feel like today that wouldn't happen. Like today you would get credited if you were in something.
Yeah. Because you want that sweet royalties. No one will do anything for free. And I actually forgot to mention too that originally they wanted Ray J. Parker, the guy who did the Ghostbusters theme, to do the theme for Back to the Future, but he was unavailable, which I think was fine. That's great.
Yeah, it worked great.
Yeah, I think the theme is very iconic.
Yeah, it's perfect. I can't imagine anything different.
Nah, maybe not between The Power of Love and Alan Silvestri's theme of Back to the Future, which the same guy who did the theme for Back to the Future also did the theme for Avengers as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's still the same.
Really?
Still the same guy, and I think he also did the theme for the Polar Express.
Oh, that's a cute movie.
Yeah, he did. So his name is Alan Silvestri.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And he did The Mummy Returns. He did Forrest Gump.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of like classic movies on his hands.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Castaway, The Polar Express, Bailey,
Oh my
A
God.
Christmas Carol. Wow, he has a lot on his resume.
Unnamed hero.
Between him and John Williams.
Yeah.
And
It's
Hans
like
Zimmer.
our entire childhood right there, those two guys.
Yeah. Well, anytime this is a conversation for another day. I feel like that's one of the things that's missing from new movies. Is like you don't hear any iconic, like not saying they're iconic, but no themes to the movie as much as 80s and 90s were. Like as soon as you hear that first note, you're like, Avengers.
Like The
Polar
Exorcist.
Express.
You know exactly what it is. Yeah.
Well, and not
I
just
think-
scores, but like
all of it.
regular music coming from movies. Like my mom grew up in the 80s, and so she watched a lot of like 80s and 90s movies, and like songs would come on the radio growing up, and she'd be like, this movie was like the theme of this song was the theme of such and such movie, and it's just like a generic song that like is on the radio.
Yeah.
And like I feel like that doesn't happen as much, where like a new song comes out in a movie for the first time.
No. Or
Like,
made for a
imagine-
movie.
Yeah, imagine if like Taylor Swift wrote a song for a movie.
She did.
And that
One
movie?
of the Hunger Games movies.
Really?
Did
Yeah.
she sing in it, or was it Olivia Rodrigo?
Dang it. No. Not the new Hunger Games. One of the Hunger Games movies that came out already. I want to say Catching Fire. She did. But that was kind of before she was like super famous.
I think Coldplay is credited on that one too. Weirdly enough.
Or, like the
Yeah.
Twilight soundtracks. Like those are iconic.
Well, that, yeah.
Those were,
as
like,
well.
New for the
And-
Twilight movies though.
Only one of the songs I feel like is like very notable. Like I feel like the rest of them aren't like radio songs from the Twilight soundtrack.
No, I think that what I always remember is there's one from Paramore. Maybe they did one theme.
There's like a
probably.
Muse song. That's the one I was thinking of.
Oh,
Yeah,
what,
Muse more than I think.
Lady,
There's a lot.
well, Lady Gaga made a song for Top Gun. I remember I was like, oh,
Really?
actually,
That's kind of
Yes.
cool.
yeah. And I thought, oh, okay, I was thinking, okay, well, I wonder what kind of scene this will be in, or with the original scene with Kenny Loggins. I thought, well, that's good. It's the credits song in the movie. So it's not she made a song for the movie, and it's the credit song.
Yeah, it's not
Kind of
actually in the movie. It's just like in the credits, and you're like, that was
That's what
stupid.
that's the Olivia Rodrigo song.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
made to hype.
credits.
It's not actually made for the movie, which is
Yeah.
lame.
I agree.
No.
Silly.
Oh,
But I do like that song.
that wasn't too bad. Adele also did from one of the James Bond movies too.
Ooh, I bet that was cool.
Yeah, I bet that was really
Um,
good.
Skyfall, I think it was Sky.
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's perfect. And because you say it like that, now I'll put this on YouTube and I'll get told, like, oh no, you copyright.
Liz has to be a
Skyfall, right.
singer now. Forget the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one thing I feel like is missing. Like just hearing like kind of themes with movies now.
Yeah.
And John Williams is retiring. And actually,
should.
you know, everyone deserves to have some peace.
yeah, well,
Should keep making music.
He's in,
Courtney's like,
he's in-
forget that.
he's in his 90s. Oh,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
and Indiana Jones was the last one that he was going to do.
Well, 91 years old.
Yeah,
That's so
It-
old.
yeah. I don't think he wants to keep doing this
No,
any
I wouldn't.
any longer.
He'll probably keep writing. He just won't. He'll just sell it to people. That's probably what
But yeah,
until it dies.
and it will still be iconic.
It will be.
Any final thoughts about this film? Actually, Liz, are you gonna go watch number 2 and number 3? Do you want to go watch number 2 and 3, or are you like, I'm good?
I think I'm good. Unless someone is like, Liz, we have to go watch these. I'll be like, yes, I'll watch these with you. But
I'm
I'm
gonna go
not like, I'm not like dying to go watch them right now.
Thank you, cool. Thank you.
I'm gonna go watch them. And the main reason is because when I was going to watch this movie earlier this week, I accidentally rented Back to the Future 2 first. And then I was like, wait a second. So I didn't hit play because you get like 30 days with it.
Yeah.
So then I rented the right one. Now I have to make sure I go watch this one before my 30 days is up.
Very paid for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Already been made for
Well, if you ever decide to go and watch the rest of the films, it is one of the very rare trilogies where it is, to me, in my eyes, it's a perfect trilogy. It goes back and forth. I think it goes well from back and forth, going back to the first one. Like all the characters are pretty much consistent, and the trilogy just wraps up, to me, really well. Even though the third one, a lot of people don't like.
Yeah.
I think it's just people over criticizing. Like it's not that bad. You're just going too far into it. But no, that's right. But interesting enough, George, the guy who plays George, doesn't return for 2 and 3, and actually sued him too.
Why?
Well, I read that he was hard to work with. So I'm sure he was not asked back.
Bingo.
Interesting.
So if you go watch
Sued them.
2 and 3, he's either upside down or he's far away, or they've just reused footage from the first one.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
They don't recast him like properly.
They do for like one scene.
Yeah.
No, he's like upside down because it's the future, and he's like, oh, I threw my back out, so I'm upside down, so you can't tell it's not really him.
On an inversion table. See.
Yeah. And the actor who plays Jennifer doesn't. She gets recast.
Oh, I loved her. What? That's
Why would they do that? She was perfect.
Oh, Elizabeth Shue plays her. That's cool.
I don't know if that's because of scheduling, but
Aw.
yeah. It took me, I don't know, the 10th rewatch to realize, oh, that's actually a different chick. I'm like, oh.
Generic 80s observant.
Yeah. Because number 2 starts exactly the same as the ending as the first one,
Yeah.
where he opens the garage and she walks out.
Is it the new actress?
It's a new actress in the
Wow.
second and third one. Yeah.
Well, at least we get Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, and Tom Wilson coming back. It's all good.
Yes.
And Lorraine. Oh, Lorraine.
Lorraine stays.
I do have one thing I want to comment on, which is like, I actually think they did a pretty good job of like aging the actors to be the adult parents.
See,
Because at the beginning of the movie, I didn't even notice that they were like young. And then I was like, wait a second. Now they're old. What's happening?
Yeah. See, now they would just be de-aged. They'd just be de-aged, CGI to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They used makeup and it looked really good. They did. It was good. Yeah.
Yeah, go change that oil, pops.
Yeah.
Awkward long. But yeah, any final thoughts on the film? The good, the bad, and Back to the Future?
I have 2 things. So I just like made a note at the end because I broke up watching this into a couple of different parts just because of timing for this week. But I watched the end, like the last 20 minutes in one chunk, which I would recommend. It was really good. Like it could be like a short story. I don't know. It was great. Last 20 minutes, fabulous. But it was giving me like Magic School Bus vibes. I was like, this is cool. This is fun. Like this feels like something that would happen in my brain that would like explain what's going on around the world. It was very fun. I really enjoyed it.
School Bus. God, that's something I haven't thought about in ages. When to bring up.
It just hit the vibes. It just, that's what it was. And then the other thing I had to say was I did some investigating online about this movie, and I read through some released like conversation, like written conversation back and forth when they were trying to get a studio to pick up this movie. And one of the studios that they went to said that they would take on the movie if they changed the name to Spaceman from Pluto.
Yeah.
They're like, sure, but it's gotta be called this. It's like, no thanks. They would have made less than their $19 million budget if they named it Spaceman from Pluto. That's insane.
Oh. And the thing is that guy would have written that and gone, yeah, that's a title. That is a title.
It's great.
Great. I'll give it to them.
Run it back. He wasn't from a different planet. Did they read the script? Probably not.
No, I feel like a lot of those people didn't read these scripts at all.
But also this movie they took it to Disney thinking that it would be a perfect Disney movie, and Disney turned them down because they're like, it's too raunchy.
Yeah, definitely too raunchy for Disney. Yeah. It's close to being a good Disney movie. Like I could see some of these rides being like in Disney World, but like I think the actual writing and the comedy within the movie, like not Disney, not PC. Not even in the 80s.
Not PG enough.
No. And I can only imagine what a Disney exec would have looked at and gone, Han, he kisses his mother. Yeah, no. No.
I don't think we want to touch that.
No,
We got
we
enough
can't make,
issues on our hands.
and we don't want to make that in a ride either. So
Not only kisses his mother, but she takes off of his pants while he's asleep. Does. That's a thing that happens. And then he tries to pretend sexually assault her later in the movie as well. That's also a thing that
Well, he
happens.
plans to. Nothing actually ever happens,
'Cause he
but
gets
he was
too
like planning
nervous.
on it.
Well, yeah. He
But-
also was she was way too into him. She was like, "Oh, I know what car time is. I'm down for that."
He was
I'm
like,
down for
all
a part.
right.
Okay. That
oh,
means I'm 17
Right,
years
Mom.
old.
and in the same time, I'm going to go home with a different guy
Mhm.
that dropped me off and fall in love with him because he hit a bully.
Yeah.
I'm going to completely forget about Calvin.
Bye, Calvin. I need to get off the dating apps and just go for the guys that make a scene around me.
Yeah. Oh, do you though? Should you?
It worked
I
out for
recommend-
Lorraine. You want a guy that makes a scene in public?
Or just wait for him to get hit by a car.
Oh, that could work.
Yeah.
Become a nurse. Step 1, become a nurse. Step 2. I think I just need to sit outside my hire somebody to drive up and down the road in front of my house and then just kind of sit out there and wait for somebody to get hit and then take them in and make them fall in love with me. Sure.
I don't worry, I've got it. It's all good. Don't worry, I'll take good care of him.
I have found the solution, everybody. Get off the apps.
No
This is
hospital
the new way to
necessary.
do it.
Yeah. Just
There.
Tinder by car.
My car. Love it. That should be the name of this movie.
Yeah.
True.
It all happens in a car.
Yes. Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. You get him by the car at the end too. And it was the whole thing with the Back to the Future. But
Yeah,
no,
make it up.
No, you can't. Claude, any final things?
No, I don't think so. I've said my bits about it. I guess what I will say is I just really like this movie. I think I'll enjoy it every rewatch. Yeah.
Same. I'll never get tired of watching this film. And as soon as I have kids, I'm going to make them watch this film. Yes, they would complain. Yes, they will complain and go, why does it look so old?
You're welcome.
Why
It is
is
one.
this, what's a terrorist and everything else? But I'm like, you're going to watch it.
Gonna
I
sit
don't
down
care.
and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Eat your popcorn. I feel like watching a few old 80s movies could do some good for our future children because they won't be exposed to that in most of the content that they're getting. So it'll give them a little bit of mental toughness, There's more out there that they can handle.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen if you show someone Indiana Jones or Ghostbusters or The Frighteners? You'd be
The
fine.
Frighteners. I don't know about that one.
Oh, sorry. I mean,
They'll live
Jurassic
through it.
Park.
I heard you slip that one in there. I wasn't gonna let that one go.
and look, most of those movies are still better than some stuff that comes out today.
Yes, very true. Definitely agree
And-
with that.
The practical effects is a lot better. I don't know if you've ever seen. Independence Day?
I haven't.
There's a small scene in that where a spaceship hovers over, I think the Empire State Building, and then blows up the city. And they did all of that on a miniature city, and all practical effects. They built a whole city of New York just to film that scene.
Imagine how many
That's on my
people
list.
that took.
For weeks to make.
Well,
It's like when you learn about Star Wars being all just models. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
There's a documentary on Disney Plus, and I think George Lucas is staying in a room, and it shows you all the practical things they built for the entire movie, and it's like a whole warehouse to
That's
shoot this
really
film.
cool.
And another one, it would be The Night Before Christmas.
Oh my gosh, yes. That one is so cool, the behind the scenes and just how many shots they had to do for it.
Yeah, it's like stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, just to film that.
I don't have the patience for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and they did. Oh, that's because why the shoot took so long was because of all that stop motion. But I think that's one of the big things I do love. I think Star Wars still does really well is that they do, even these new films, they keep that practical effects in as much as possible. Yes, they are now these giant sound stages, but they try and do as much as practical compared to, like, unfortunately, Marvel.
Yeah, Liz and I aren't big Marvel fans, so we're there with you.
I wish they did more practical. But look, Back to the Future, timeless, doesn't need a sequel. Yes, it cannot be made today and does raise a lot of questions about the 50s. But
we love it still.
We love it. And it's set up that route. It's up in an upper echelon of films. Yeah, I know.
I was trying to figure out where you were going. I was like, what? Where are we trying to get?
Yeah, don't worry. Well, once I spit it out, it'll be Christmas, so Merry Christmas. But yeah, any final words besides me trying to spit it out?
I don't think so. No, covered it all. I think so.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on this episode. I really enjoyed this. And I can't wait to have you guys back on to do another episode as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting us. Thank you so much for having us. It was such a blast.
Of course. And thank you also doing it this time too.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect time for us.
It's our Friday afternoon. I got all the Friday energy going, so.
Great. Well, you start drinking as well. For me, it's too early to start drinking. But as always, all the notes, all the show notes will be for this episode, all the links. And as always, until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.